All right, guys, a little video on how to deal with data, collecting data. So a lot of times when you get data from a website, it might not be something that is transferable right to Google Sheets or Excel. So for example, when we're doing our work in this unit, you have this data, which I'm going to do all this the hard way. So we'll see for a second. So you can look at this, and this is the data from our class. And if you want to deal with this or manipulate this data, what you can do is you want to copy the whole thing. So you can click on there and let's see what happens if I hit Control A. So if I hit Control A, it highlights everything. Then I hit Control C, or you can right click and hit copy. And then what you'll do with your data is you'll bring it over to a spreadsheet, and then you go to the top corner here. Let me just delete everything. Let me get a new sheet here. So here's a new sheet, and then I go up here and I hit either Control V or paste, and then you'll see it doesn't do anything. That's terrible. Okay, so it's a straight line like that. So that's not good. So another thing you can do is, if that doesn't work, is just hit this and go back, and then hit right click, and then now when you hit paste, it'll allow you to paste different ways. So I don't remember always which one works. I just kind of wait until I get the one that I want. So I'll hit this one first, and now it looks somewhat good. Now this is a big mess here. These are all the titles. So the titles themselves got pushed down like that. I want these in different columns. It doesn't look nice in any way here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to type these in now. Life expectancy, expectancy, and then this other one is mortality rate. Mortality rate. I probably spelled that wrong. Yeah, I'm sure I did. Yeah, way too many letters there. Mortal. I can't see anything because of mortality rate. I think that's closer. Oh, did it underline it for me? Let me try that again. Mortality rate. And you can. The only problem with cutting and pasting this is, notice when I cut here, each word is a different thing. So if you cut and paste this, it won't. Let me show you. If I go population growth, you can do that, but what ends up happening is it's now in 3 cells. Okay, so I can't think of a faster way to do this except to actually type them. So after you're done typing them, which I'll do eventually. So let me just pause this and then I'll clean it up. I'll get back to you in 1 second. Okay, so I think I cleaned it up here. The only issue now is that this is still kind of not easy to read. So let me just zoom in also to get in here for you. I think I can zoom here. Let's see. Zoom. Let's go to 150. Okay, so notice here, I have all the things I want, but they're not nice to see. So what I am going to do now is I'm just going to highlight everything I don't want and get rid of it. Delete it, okay? And the next thing I want is to bring up these numbers on the bottom. This data on the bottom here. And to do that, what you can do is highlight all of the columns here, either that way or on the outside. And I want to get rid of them, and then if you just hit delete, it will just delete them and do exactly what you want. The next issue we have is this data here isn't spread out, right? It's not in columns, it's just in one column. So if I click here, all the data, you can see Afghanistan has all the data, but it's not spread out the way I want it spread out. So this is kind of neat. What you do, and this is not perfect, but it is pretty good. Oh, the other thing here is I have a bunch of, this is page 2 of the data. So again, I'll just get rid of this. Oh. Let me do that again. So I'll just go and delete this to here and hit delete rows here, and then it pushes it up automatically. Don't forget, you can always hit the undo button if you're not happy. So I have all this data here. I don't want this either, so I'm going to get rid of that. And now I want to spread this data into various columns. And there's a way to do it. It's not foolproof, and we're going to have to do some more work after. But if you highlight all the data, and then you go to, where is it? Data. Oh, it didn't let me do it. Give me a second here. Let me try this again. If I go and highlight all of this data, I don't think it liked me doing. Yeah. So don't highlight the rows. Just highlight the data. So go down in A and highlight like this, and then hit data. Split to columns. So if you hit this, it will it'll split, and it might be right or might be wrong. But no, here, anyway, go here, and our data had a space between them. So anytime you see a space, you're going to hit, it will now put it in a new column. So it did a great job for countries. It lined everything up perfectly. For countries. Oh, no, I need population. So let me split this too. So split this data here. So data. So let's just say this is what happened. Okay, so I forgot the population column. So what I would do here is I just take this, and then the easiest way to do it is just cut it and then paste it, move it over. And then you have country and population. I would just type population here. Or you know what you can do? You can go to this. 2 birds, 1 stone. Control X, get rid of it, and then go here and hit Control V and paste it in. Now, there's a couple things. One, let's just look up top here and deal with this first. There's other stuff we have to deal with below, but let's deal with this. I don't like how this looks because things are getting cut off here. So click on the column or click on the data that you want to clean up here, and then go over to this guy right here. This one, text wrapping. And if you click on this, what happens? It's the second one. It will make everything fit. Okay, so I don't like how this is on the bottom and that's on the top. So you can do this vertical alignment, and you can center it, or sometimes this one looks best. I think we're at the top. It's up to you what you want to do here. You can also click on. You can change the font or whatever you want. There's a lot of things you can do with the data to clean it up. So another thing you can do also is you can look here and you can make this, like if you want to have grids like that, I think that's nice, right? So what I did is I clicked on this, you highlight what you want to highlight. So you can do that. But then the other issue at this point now is that all of this, you have a country like the Democratic Republic of the Congo, every word democratic space turned into that, right? So if I do this and I try to merge the cells, let me see what happens. If I do that, I don't think it's going to get me where I want. No, it won't, right? Because it gets rid of everything. So if you know how to do it, tell me. But otherwise, what I honestly would do is for these ones here, I would type them in just like that. And then again, I want to get rid of this after, so I'm going to hit delete cells, and then shift the cells to the left. So now they come over and now they're in the right column. If you want this, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can go back and do what we did here. So let me try that. So let me go here and hit this, text wrapping, and it'll make it thicker. Another thing you can do also, I wouldn't recommend this, but another thing you can do also is actually drag this down and make it wider that way. But it doesn't wrap it, it just makes it wider. So I would go and hit this, and every time you're going to have a situation like this country, and there's a bunch of countries at the bottom, I think the best way to do it is to actually just do it by hand, type it in. Okay, so what I'm going to do for this sheet, I'm going to clean this up and post it for you guys, but I'm more helping you. This is to get you ready for your final project. Okay, I think that's it. Once it's all cleaned up, you'll see. So let me clean it up, and then I'll tell you what to do for your project. All right, back to this. That's all cleaned up. And now what you can do is, so things don't move. I pull that guy down there, and now when I move up and down, the titles stay there. Okay, so what I did here is, again, let me just go back and show you. Take the hand there, and then pull it down until it goes to where you want it to not move. And again, you can color this. This might not be the worst idea. Fill color. Put this in yellow. No, it does too bad. Hold on. So let's do yellow anyway. Let's go with that. Okay, so you got that. You can do the columns. You can fill the columns, whatever you want. So in our project, if you want to compare these two things, you're going to highlight the whole thing, both columns here. Oh, that's yellow for some reason. And then you're going to hit Insert, and then you're going to hit Chart. And then this pops up. Okay, so make sure that this is a scatter plot. If you hadn't used a scatter plot and it was something like this, you're going to go to Scatter Plot over here. So now it changes to Scatter Plot. And there's the chart. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And what you want to do, what you have here is you're saying that life expectancy is your independent variable and mortality rate is your dependent variable. That's up to you what you want to do for the data. Anyway, what you do is if this isn't up on the right here. So if you're over here, that won't come up. But if you click on here, that will happen. You hit setup. I got the scatter plot. I'm happy with that. Then you go to customize and you go down to series, then click on trend line, and that will get you the line of best fit. And then you also want to show the R squared probably and the equation. So what this is telling me right now is for life expectancy, as life expectancy increases, mortality infant rate happens to go down. So in reality, these probably are opposite, right? You would want mortality infant rate to be your independent variable. So if that was the case, if you wanted to do that, the column on the right is going to be your dependent variable. So there's a couple ways to do that. You can click on here and change what you're looking at, or the easiest way sometimes is just to take these two columns and swap them out. Okay, so at any time, if you want to mess around with things, I think I've shown you this before. What you do is you hit duplicate, and then you now have a new copy. So if you want to keep your raw data here, you go over here, and now you mess around with this data. Okay, anyway, let's just leave this as is. What this means is so when you look at the line of best fit, this here, a lot of things won't make sense, okay? But what this is saying is, if I have a life expectancy of 0, I'd have a mortality rate of 186. Now, that obviously makes no sense. You can have a 100% mortality rate, right? Or 186% mortality rate. But that's what this means, is this guy was extended. This stops at 55 and goes to 50. If this went all the way to 0, then I would have you know what? I am going to swap those out. See if we can make sense of this. Give me 1 second. So if I want mortality rate to be the independent variable and I don't care about everything else, what I'll just do is I'll delete this column. I'll delete this column. I'm just going to clean this up. I'll delete this column and I'll take this whole column and I'll cut it and I'll paste it over here. So now when I do this, this guy doesn't make any sense anymore. So let me just get rid of that guy. So I hit delete, and then I will take all this data and I will do what I did earlier. Insert chart. And the chart's there, so it's now looks like that. And then I go to customize and I go to series, and I can do this here and go data. Nope, I don't want data there. I want trend line, and I want use equation, and I want R squared. So this makes way more sense. So if I had a mortality rate of 0, I would have a life expectancy of 79.8. Okay, so there's, which makes sense. Okay, so if I had an infant mortality rate of 0, I'd have a life expectancy of this. That's your y equals mx plus b. That's your b. Your m is your slope. So here it's saying the higher, as mortality rate increases by 1, okay, the life expectancy decreases by 0.338. So as this goes up 1 unit, which in this case is actually mortality rate per 1,000 live births. So as this goes up 1, your life expectancy goes down, which makes sense, right? If you have a higher mortality rate of newborns, of infants, sorry, your life expectancy would go down. Okay, so it goes down 0.338 years, because that's the unit here. Okay, so that's what we're looking at here. Your R squared is that. If I was to get the R, because this is going down, my R would be negative. Okay, so that's what you do with the data. That's a little intro to this unit. I'm going to post this I'm going to embed this into the content, and I'm also going to post a clean version of the data for you guys to use. All right, good luck. Bye.